Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Deanne Castro, a Creative Memories Advisor in Bakersfield, California, and I have a border to show you tonight. Oh, can't see that. I was just recently at my Lines Coast, no, sorry, Crop and Connect. There's two things that I do, and they're both C&C, so I get a little confused. Um, and I was asked to teach some borders, so I taught 3 borders. This is one of them. This has kind of like a basic, intermediate, and advanced border. And I'll show you how to do each one of them so that you can decide what you would like to do when you decide to make one. Okay, so let's get started. Here we go. So these were made with the Adventure Parks Fast to Fabulous designer papers. So as you can see, these papers were already pre-designed and pre-printed. So all you really need to do if you want just a plain, easy page is to put this paper down on your page, add some photos, and go from there. So I did a little bit of a twist on it, and I made borders out of these. So, and you can, put them on your page any way you want, kind of like this, or, okay. This is the first one. This one is very simple. You just have this base piece that was the Fast Fabulous pre-printed piece. Then you have a little bit of a mat behind it. And then if you want, you can add another piece behind it just to add some more color, but you don't have to, okay? This is the next one, and this was done the same way. This was already cut. We cut this out. We added a mat, but then we added a little bit of 1/8 of an inch of color on both sides of these. And this one was done in the blue. This is just a very basic one that I didn't put any embellishments on, but you can see what it looks like, just different colors. This is the last one. This is the one I like the most. It really, once you get used to using the wavy trimmer, it's not as difficult as it looks. But I called this one the advanced one just because it kind of is. So this is like, what is the measurement? It's not really 1/8, but it's not a quarter either. It's kind of in between those two. This one was done with 1/4 of an inch waves. Um, if you like the wider ones, feel free to do yours wider. I just tended to gravitate more towards the thinner ones on these other borders. Okay, so what you want to do, we're gonna put these out of the way here. You're gonna want to take one of the Fast to Fabulous papers, and you're gonna want to use the wavy trimmer. Now, unfortunately, Creative Memories is no longer selling these because they were out. It was out for years and years and years. I've probably had this one since early 2000s. So I know pretty much almost all of you probably have one of these, except the new ones. And then there's other trimmers out there too, I think. So what you want to do is I'm going to turn this way. We're going to use this wavy section right here. We're going to put this paper in, and we're going to cut this side first. So all of the paper, every time I put this in here, is going to be centered. And I'm going to show you what that means on this trimmer. So it's got a box here. So there's lots of different boxes and lines on this trimmer. So you're going to have just one full set of boxes on the top and then one full set of boxes on the bottom. You're not going to have it all the way to the bottom of the trimmer or all the way to the top. Okay, so keep in mind every time you put your paper in here, you're going to have it centered. So it's the boxes on the top and boxes on the bottom. Now, we are going to move this piece over, and we are going to put the end of it right at the 3/4 of an inch. So the section where this cuts for this particular wave is at the number 2. So I guess, 1 inch here from this lazy wave is what I call it. 1 inch over, 2 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches. But for our purposes, this really needs to be number 1. So we're going to move it over to 3/4 of an inch. So I guess you could call it 1 1/4 inch from there. Okay. So we're just going to move it over, center it on the trimmer. And we're going to cut this piece. Okay. Now we're going to take it and we're going to turn it around. And we are going to line what I'm calling the squiggle down the middle of this. We're going to take the left end of this squiggle, and we're going to put it on the number 3 here on the trimmer. So it's going to be 1 inch over from what would be the number 1, but is number 2. So center the paper again and put that left piece just right over there, right where the squiggle is. And then it's kind of the end of the paper here is it kind of where the 3 is. It's over like to the 3.5 inch mark on the top and the bottom. And that should make it pretty even for the designed part on one side and the non-designed part on the other. Okay, and there you have it. So it should be fairly even. If it's not, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the mat behind it. So there's blue on the back of this. So I'm going to use the other side. I was going to trim this part off, but I'm just going to use the other side over here because the wave needs to be the same, and it's not really. Okay, so the wave is, it's cut there, but if I put this on here, you can see that it's not in the same spot. Okay, and we want it to be in the same spot because we want it to look kind of like this with just a little bit of a mat behind it. So I'm going to start on the other side. I'm going to put the paper in here, and I'm just going to trim a little bit off of the end. Doesn't have to be much. Just enough to where this wave is not going to cut off the paper. Okay, so it's just like about 1/8 of an inch right there. I'm going to make sure that it's straight, that it's in the center, and I'm going to cut it. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to turn it 180 degrees. This was the part I just cut. I'm going to turn it around. And now I'm going to put this over here. Again, center it. And I'm going to put the top and the bottom at 3 3/4. So the edge of that on the other one was at 3.5. This one's at 3 3/4. This will give us 1/8 of an inch on each side. You can make that a little bigger if you want, but it doesn't really need to be much wider than that. All right. So take this piece, and I'm going to take this piece, and adhere it down to the base that we just cut. Okay, so center it on there. Got 1/8 of an inch on either side. Just eyeball it and put it on there. Okay, now you can take, let's see, what size is this? This one is a 2 3/4 inch piece. Let's see, I think this one's already cut to that as well. Yes, 2 3/4 inch piece. So if you want, you can then add this on top of here, and you're done. That one's pretty easy, huh? I like that one. The next one is a little more difficult, but still the basic cutting. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this one. This one is still going to be cut the same way, and it's still going to have the same size matting. The only thing we're going to do different on it is we're going to take these 1/8 of an inch pieces. We're going to cut these really thin pieces to put on here just to add a little bit more color and a little bit more fun to the piece. Okay, so we're going to cut this one the same way. This edge is going to line up 3/4 of an inch over from that number 2. Center the paper. Okay, and cut. Now this one we're going to need to keep for a little bit. We're going to turn it around. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to line the left-hand side of that squiggle up at the number 3, at least pretty close to it. And then those little edges, oops, it moved. Okay. Again, these edges are going to line up at this 1/2 inch mark. So in between the 4 and the 3 here on the top and on the bottom. Okay. So we're going to cut this again. And then this one has the red on the back. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to cut the red piece. We're just going to cut a little bit off this end. Just enough to put that particular wave on here. It helps to be straight and centered. Okay. And then we're going to turn it around to 180 degrees. This time it's going to be centered, and the very edges of those are going to be at the either 3 3/4 inch or the 4. Well, it's kind of 3 3/4. So if you're counting from 3, you're going to go over 3/4 and put the end right here at the 3/4 inch mark on the top and the bottom. Okay. And that one's going to be adhered down. So now we're going to cut 2 more pieces. From this little piece, we're going to put this back in here, and we're only going to cut 1/8 of an inch. So we want this to be really thin. And I'm moving this over. Okay, so from here, this 2, I've got it marked. It's just 1/8 of an inch right here. So you just move it over just a tiny bit to that first mark on the top and the bottom. And this is the trickiest part. Okay, set it down easy so it doesn't move. And cut it. Let's see if I got it in the right spot. Yes, that looks really good. So see, it's not very wide, but you don't want it really wide. You just want to add a little bit of accent. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the red one. Just going to move it over, again, centering it to the 1/8 of an inch mark. Make sure it doesn't move. And let's see if I did it okay there too. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so now we can put this together. We will adhere this one down. If you guys think about it, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet and you're enjoying this border, check out my other videos and then consider subscribing. Just think about it. If you like these, you might want to then also subscribe and then click the little notification button so you'll know when I get my videos out. I try to do them Mondays at 8 o'clock. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but this way you'll be notified when they do come out. And it'd be fun. I'd appreciate it. So thanks. All right, I'm going to move my little mat over here. And oops, wrong tape. I need the repositionable on this one. Okay, so since this is the striped one and it's on this side, I'm going to put it on the opposite side and just line it up so it's like about 1/8 of an inch in. So it's about the same distance that the red is on the outside. Okay, so see right there? It's kind of hard to see with the white part of it here, but it's just about 1/8 of an inch in. I'm going to do the same thing with the red one. And that one's going to go here, also about 1/8 of an inch in, just to add a little bit of accent. Okay, so there's number 2. If you want to mat it behind, you can maybe mat with a yellow. That would be pretty. Let's see. Do I have yellow around here somewhere? Not handy. But then you can also do the 2 3/4 inch yellow mat behind this and then add a few embellishments. You can add that, add a camera, and add maybe a firework, but this is red, so it's not going to show up very well. But you can make them in blue, or the stickers are all different colors and stuff too. These are actually printed off my Cricut. I downloaded the Adventure Parks theme pack digital to my computer, uploaded it to my design space, and then created these any size I wanted. So if you have not seen that video yet, I do have a video how to add digital software and cut by your Cricut. It's kind of a print and cut thing is what I did. Okay, so there you go. And that's how that one looks. Okay, now my favorite one. We're going to move on to number 3. And I just love this one, but it is a little more detailed. So hang in there with me. And I think it might be your favorite as well. Okay, so this one goes up here too. Okay, so there's a little bit of a trick to get both pieces on here. So first, you want to do very similar to what we've already done. You're going to trim this side. But let me look at my directions. Okay, so you need to center the paper again, and you're going to move it over the right side of the paper at the 2.5-inch line. Okay, so the 2.5 right here. So it's going to cut closer to the edge than it did when we were doing it at the 3/4 inch. So it's really the 1/2 inch. It said it's kind of or 1.5, kind of right in between the 1 and the 2 up here. Okay. And so see, it's going to cut really close to the edge where the others didn't cut this close. This is like what it did when we were just cutting the very end of one. It's kind of hard to see it there. Just to get the wavy on it. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, we don't need this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move this over just 1/8 inch. So we're going to move it over to the next mark over from the 1/2. Okay, let's see if I can show you. Okay, so this is where we just cut it, was the 1/2 inch right there. We're going to move it right to here. Just the one mark over on the top and the bottom. Make sure you've got your paper centered. Now we're not going to cut all of it. What we're going to do is we're going to move the blade down a little bit below the top. So kind of about right there. So see, the blade is not cutting right here at the top. I moved it down, and that's where I'm going to start cutting. And I'm going to cut, that's not right. That's not right. That's too far. Okay, so from the 1/2 inch, go back the opposite direction. Yes. So erase what I said. Do not do that. What you're going to do is you're going to go back the other way. So from the 1/2 inch mark, you're going to go back to this line right here. Because what we want is only an 1/8 inch cut on the end over here. Sorry about that, guys. That was not the right way to go. Okay. And you'll be able to see if it's just that 1/8 inch. Also, it will, the left-hand part of the squiggle will go right on the 3, right here, on the 3-inch mark right here. So the left squiggle will go right on the 3, right there, okay? But there again, center it. So you've got that on the 3 and that one on the 3. Yeah, that's the right direction. Okay, there again though, do not, see it's a lot closer. Don't Start at the top. You want to start a little bit of the way down. Okay, and cut. Now don't cut all the way to the bottom. You get to the bottom, stop. About right here. Okay, I'm not cutting all the way to the bottom. I'm cutting right to about there. Okay, that's a little wider than 1/8 of an inch, but that's okay, it'll work. All right, now we're gonna turn it around 180 degrees. And we're gonna line the left of the squiggle up at the 3 1/4 inch line. Oops. Push this back up there. Okay. So the squiggle, instead of at the 3, it's going to be at 3 1/4. Okay, so see, here's the squiggle, and here is the 1/4. So the top part of that yellow needs to be right at the 3 1/4 inch line right there. You see that? Same on the bottom. Just move it over to where the squiggle is at 3 1/4. And you're going to cut the whole thing. Okay. Then you're going to move this over just 1/4 of an inch. Again, keep it centered. And we'll see if that is kind of even with the other one. Okay, don't cut at the top. Move it down just a little bit and cut down and then stop before you get to the bottom. Okay. And there we go. So this is what it looks like. Okay. You got these 2 end pieces right here, but they are still on. They're still stuck on there. Okay. Now we need 2 1/8 of an inch pieces. And I want a blue piece and a red piece. So let's see, where was this? This is here. So I'm going to move this over just to the 1/4 of an inch, the very edge, just like we did the last time for the last border. Make sure you center it on there. Hold it down and let's see if it's going to be thin enough. Yeah, that one will work. Now we're going to do the same thing with the blue one. Center the paper, move it over to the 1/8 of an inch. Make sure it doesn't wiggle on you. Hold it down and cut all the way down. Check that out. That's good. Okay. And then we're going to put it on here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take these end pieces, you're going to take the top and you're going to fold it over. Bring it up to the camera. You're going to fold it over the width that is cut. And then you're going to make sure that the top of it is flush with the top. Okay, see how that's bent down just a little bit? That's not what you want. You want it to go straight against the top. And just kind of finagle it till you can get it there. Okay, and then do the same thing with the bottom. Fold it over, and make sure it folds pretty much against the top. Okay, like that. I know it's little, it's really little, but make sure it's straight against the top. That will help this lay flat. Okay, same thing on the other side. Fold it over. It's flush against the top and on the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to take these pieces and we're going to weave them around in here. Okay. Let's see. I have the blue on this side on that one. That's going to go this way. Yeah, it's going to go on that one over here. All right. So I'm going to put the adhesive on the back using repositionable tape on this. Oops, bent it a little bit. Okay. So we'll start with this on that outside of the piece that's folded over. And then we're going to, so this is over, and we're going to go under this piece here. Okay, so it was over on the top, so now it's going under here. And we're just going to do the same thing, keeping this piece close to the edge. So we're going to pull this out, and it's going to go on the paper here. So it was under here, over here, and then it's going to go under. Make sure it's still a good distance from the edge before it sticks down. Okay, under, over, under. Okay, and then one more time. Go under. And it will adhere underneath this other bottom piece. Okay, so there's woven around just like that. We're going to do the same thing with the red one on the other side. The more you practice this, the more you can get them even. I know these aren't exactly even this time. I did better on the first one, but once you have it on the page with your photos, people aren't going to notice that you may not have it exact. Okay, so this is going to go on the top of this side. It's going to go under. And adhere down along the edge. And it's going to go then under. Again. Over this piece. And then under this one. And then here. And then under the bottom. Okay, so you know that you have them equally over and under. If you have one side that ends on top of it and the other side, they both end up underneath your folded piece. Okay? Then embellish as you like. Here, I'm just going to add the same things that I had on the other ones just so you can see what they look like. And ta-da, you've got them done. So let me know what you guys think. I loved doing these. I made these probably almost a year ago and then didn't really do anything with them. I've been kind of waiting to for the right time to bring them out. So I brought them out for the Crop and Connect, and everyone loved them. So I'm sharing them with you. So if you'd like to join my Facebook group, I have a group where I try to post all the new products that are coming out every other week or so. Um, Tomorrow we have a adhesive buffet starting at noon Central Time, and we have lots of different limited edition adhesives. So actually, it's today because you're going to be watching this on Monday, and so it's coming out technically today. I'm actually recording this the night before, but um, so check that out. Okay. And it's on this. If you'd like to join, just ask to join and I'll let you in. And it'd be really fun for me if you guys share the borders or the pages that you make from the videos that you watch. And that would be so much fun. And then any other ideas that I happen to find along the way, I try to add in there. It's difficult for me because I work full time, but I do what I can, okay? And if you guys have suggestions, throw those on there too, and I'll see them. So if you want to check out if the special's starting tomorrow, if you do not have an advisor, feel free to check out my website. If you do have an advisor, go to her website because I know that she would love to have you check out the new things that are coming out and then get a hold of her for anything you may want. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you again next week. Bye.